about my neighbor who tried to jump me when I was pregnant. I'm going to give you a little follow-up on that before I tell you my story for tonight. He's 96 and I'm not, so that was a problem. I recently went to his house to get him to sign a form for a block party we were going to have. I knocked on the door. I mean, my neighbors had me do it because, you know, they know we fancy each other. So I knocked on the door and I heard him coming, and so I'm waiting, and he says from the other end, "Hey Brenda, I don't have any clothes on. Is it okay?" And I was like, "No, it's not." He's like, "Oh, okay, then give me a few minutes to get dressed." So he's still trying to get me. So that's a story of how, of when I was pregnant. Tonight I'm going to tell you a story of the journey to being pregnant. A lesbian trying to get pregnant. The journey gets pretty interesting. So very early on, my partner and I decided that we were going to try and save money because it's not cheap trying to get pregnant that way. So I had this brilliant idea that I would go to New York and bring the sperm home instead of having the sperm bank ship it to us. So I got on the bus and I went to New York. It was uneventful going there. But when I got there, there was this thing, this contraption about that high and shaped like a penis waiting for me. No kidding, you can't make that up. And it was about that wide. So I had to bring that thing from the sperm bank office to Port Authority and back to Philadelphia on a bus. So I had to hug it. I was hugging a penis, like that. And I'm sure from the front it looked like I was a walking penis because you couldn't see my head. So I'm walking like this to the bus. And it drew the attention of this one man who kept looking at me. And I was like, oh crap, who is he? How am I going to explain this? So this guy gets on the bus with me, he sits next to me. In retrospect, I think he was like the bus marshal or something. So he was talking to me the whole time, the whole journey from New York to Philadelphia. He didn't get anything out of me because there was really nothing to tell. So the next morning, it was time to use the sperm and the penis. So my partner, Michelle, opens the penis. I'm not there. And she's like, "Oh, man." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Come and see this." So I come over, and I was expecting something pretty substantial. I mean, that thing was huge. And inside, there was like 2 cocktail-sized straws. And those things had cost $600. And I'm like, "How are you going to do that?" She's like, "I'll tell you. I'll think about it. We'll figure it out." I'm not even going to tell you what happened with the first straw. It was wasted. It was horrible. The next day, she was like, "I have a brilliant idea. We're going to do this." She's like, "I'm going to cut off both ends. I'm going to put the straw in my mouth and blow. I'm going to blow it into your vagina." Now, imagine my very butch partner with a straw of sperm in her mouth. Anyhow, so this is day 2. Day 1 was a total waste. Day 2, she takes a straw, she cuts off one end. The minute she cuts off the second end, the whole thing spills on the bed. It's like a puddle this big, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, $600 sinking into the mattress. I'm like, this is not going to happen. I had to hug a penis all the way from New York to Philadelphia and put up with a bus marshal. I'm not going to waste this. So what did I do? I hopped on the spot. And I started ribbing on the spot. It was like, ooh, like ribbing on the spot. Michelle looked shocked. She was like, you know, the look on her face, it's like she was like, fucking crazy African lesbian. You know? And I'm thinking,